The caline pedal power. Should actually say the caline pedal no power. So this is the third installment that I've had video of the caline power supply. I talked before in the beginning about, let me just zoom out here, changing all the capacitors in the main unit here, which I did all that, and then discovered that I had to change all the capacitors in this here. Then in my video I actually even stated that this was putting out a large amount of voltage. I don't know why. I think what happened was possibly the regulator in here failed when I put the new caps in, and it was just pumping out a lot of voltage. I'm not exactly sure. Either that or the caps that were in it weren't what they said they were, and when I changed it, it somehow ramped up my voltage. But when this happened, plugging it into the main unit, it fried my input capacitor. Then I ended up with a short on the board, and it wouldn't work. It worked for a little while. It was just flickering in and out and this and that. And then I thought about it, and I said, this probably shouldn't have been putting out the voltage that it was. It seemed odd to me in the very beginning. It seemed odd to me after I put it together, and then I saw the output. I don't know why. I think possibly the regulator failed. So what I did is I got a different power supply that I had kicking around. This puts out about 18 volts at like an amp or so. And I had to cut the end off of that, which is there, because the polarity was different, and then I took the end from this and I put it on there, and it still wasn't working. I had the short, and I went ahead and changed the input capacitor, and now it is functioning once again. It's a little residual voltage. You can see there I have power once again. So there it is. Definitely an upgrade to change the caps, but it was a bit of a process, and I think the real fault in this whole line is basically this input power plug. I noticed in some review that I read somewhere that somebody said that they used, I want to say maybe Digitech or something power supply. I know some Digitech power supplies are reverse polarity, so you might want to look into that. If you're doing this, you might want to try and find an 18 volt power supply and just eliminate this altogether. Or I may further investigate it and see if I can pull this heatsink off and see why it was putting out so much voltage. But basically I got it to a point where it's going to work, and I'm pretty happy with that, because I had spent probably, I think these on eBay are about $30, and I spent about $30 on it, and another probably almost $30 of caps. So I was pretty disappointed in that aspect. I would not recommend buying the caline pedal power supply. I've heard from other aspects online saying that it's not truly isolated. We'll find out when I start to use my rig how that may affect my pedals, and if I have any bleed through with noise or whatnot. And if that's the case, I might just break down and go ahead and just buy a real high-end isolated power supply. I know you can build them, and it's just after dealing with this, you know, like I said, I spent probably $30 plus on the unit, another $30 in caps, and a lot of aggravation to go through. Plus I had to acquire, which I just happen to have, a whole other power unit for it. So I would definitely not recommend this. And if you're running pedals, you probably want the best power possible. You definitely want it isolated because you're going to get noise. And so that's just my recommendation. That's the trouble I've had with the caline pedal power, or in this case, no power supply. So if that helps you out, that's great. So check back and probably get some more videos.